let's get right into the Rings of Power. We're going to do that first because obviously you guys know I have a lot of history with Rings of Power. Now, this trailer, I got to admit, ladies and gentlemen, this trailer is pretty damn. I don't even know if the word bad, I don't know if bad is what I want to call it. I'm just going to call it generic. That's basically what I'm going to call it, right? Like, I'm going to call it generic because that's what it is. This trailer is what they always try to do, right? So they always try to make it seem like it's this grand thing. Oh, it's so suspenseful. It's like they use the same kind of like deep, dark music, right? I know you guys know a lot about Rings of Power if you followed my channel because obviously we covered it in the beginning a little, I was going to say a little while ago, but it was a while ago, actually. Rings of Power is complete and utter shit. And you know what's the best thing about Rings of Power is that at the same time Rings of Power is running, you have House of the Dragon running. And House of the Dragon destroys the narrative that Rings of Power tries to use as to why the show is bad in the first place. They try to say, oh, well, fans are racist. They don't want to see black people in fantasy TV. Well, look at House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is being praised right now. House of the Dragon was praised before as well. That features a prominent black family. So there goes that entire fucking narrative that you have. But I do like the fact that they are purposely releasing House of the Dragon content at the same exact time that Rings of Power is coming out with their content. So it's great stuff. Good job on that. But we are going to dive deep into this 1 minute and 43-second trailer or teaser or whatever they want to call it for Rings of Power. I hope you guys have your cringe suit ready because it's going to be great. And I don't actually mean great. I'm clearly being sarcastic. So let's go. Time to raise the volume, press play, and here we go.
An evil, ancient and powerful, has returned.
Every trailer always does the same exact thing. It's the dark, broody music trying to make it seem as if it's super suspenseful. As if nobody can see this shit coming from a mile away because we're getting terrible storytelling compared to the great storytelling that Tolkien actually gave us in the books. This subpar Hollywood garbage.
Prepare yourself.
Oh, there she is, Galadriel. What they say, my girl Galadriel? Yeah, my girl Galadriel. Was clapping like a fucking seal, too. She's my girl Galadriel. All these short-haired elves, because that's always a good thing.
He worms his way inside your mind. The crest of him slithers in.
Now, in case you guys are unaware, just really quick, and I'm pausing because I don't know if I'm going to get copyrighted for this, so I apologize. But just in case you guys are not aware, Rings of Power Season 2 is essentially going to be following the story of Sauron. They're going to try to make this into I don't know if I believe it's like an origin story / like it's going to connect to whatever we saw in the last season. I really don't give a fuck. I'm not lying to you. I really don't care. But it seems like they're going to go with the Anatar route, and we'll show you in a second.
I think he has been.
Yes, Chorizo is going to be in the second age, just like the first one apparently was. But the first one tied in elements from the third age because that's what Amazon has the rights to. Whereas the second age, they only have the rights to the appendices, so they have to only use certain names and locations and make up the rest from there.
Yeah. I think he's been here among us all along.
Okay, so that whole comment about it's been here among us. I think he's been here among us all along. Obviously, they are referencing Anatar, who I believe that is what we are looking at right now. This is supposed to be the bringer of gifts, the Lord of gifts, whatever you want to call him. This is Anatar. You can very clearly see the reference to the actual Anatar because now they give him long hair, whereas in the first season, he had short hair, right? So because he was basically lying to everybody. So This is what you would deem as Anatar, and what he's going to do is essentially try to swindle his way in the Elven Kingdom and forge the Rings of Power. That's basically what it is. But the thing is, he's doing this after the Elven Rings were already made, which in the story, that's not how it works. He actually forged the other Rings of Power first, and then the Elven Rings were forged in response to those rings. Anyway, like I said, this whole fucking shit is completely fucked. It is completely fucked. This thing is like, the lore, if you even try to follow the storyline and try to make any kind of like connections, just don't even bother. Don't even bother. Let's talk about how terrible this fucking wig is. This show has one thing going for it, and I've said this since the first season. This show has CGI going for it. Absolutely. Fantastic CGI. I would even call it movie quality CGI. But when it comes to the costumes, when it comes to the setup and the getups, oh my God, like, I don't understand how it is still this bad. How are you still looking like you just came out of a CW show? How is this still this bad in season 2? I don't understand. The costumes look fucking terrible. And the costumes look even worse when compared to the really good CGI. So now you got great CGI, terrible fucking costumes that stick out like a sore thumb. It's god awful. And the armor, we're not even going to talk about the armor. Just moving on. I wonder if, oh my God, that's the worst pause I ever did in my life. Ouch. I wonder if we're gonna get another Galadriel like riding on a horse, slow motion, big nose, cheeks flying back kind of scene again. I think that's gonna be interesting. This is Disa. I don't know if you guys know who Disa is, but she's the first ever, and again, we're only mentioning this because it was really important for her to mention this in every single fucking interview that she did for the first season. And I guarantee you it's going to be the same exact thing for the second season, but I digress. This is Disa, the first ever black female dwarf, because why is that important to anyone? I have no fucking clue. But yes, she wanted to make sure that you guys knew that. This is Disa. She had very little to do or say in the first season. Apparently, she's going to get a little bit more in this season. And I'm glad she's got the look locked down. You know what I mean? Like the typical modern day feminist look where they always have to have that scrunched nose. Like you kind of smelled something bad. I mean, Tomb Raider, Lara Croft is experiencing that right now. Every single picture they release of her is like, I just smelled something terrible. Yeah, that's very typical of modern day feminists.
Every soul in Middle Earth is in peril.
Oh, darkness will bind them. You got to make sure you get that reference to Tolkien's statement about the Rings of Power, you know? Now, this shot right here feels very reminiscent of the Peter Jackson films. And I feel like they're trying to do this. They've been trying to do this for a while, to be honest with you. Where they try to do certain shots that they know the normies are going to reference back to the movies that they only know, right? So like I told you guys in another stream, Lord of the Rings fan base is heavily diverse in the sense that you have the super casuals who've only seen the films. Then you have the kind of mid-tier, I would say like mid-tier fan who knows the Third Age really well from the books, maybe don't know the Second Age too well. The Silmarillion, don't want to read that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the hardcore people that know fucking everything, right? So I feel like what these shows try to do is they try to call back to the stuff that was actually good, right? So like they're trying to call back to the Peter Jackson references because they know that a lot of people like those movies. So that's essentially what I'm getting from this. But again, this whole timeline is fucked because they made the Elven Rings first. Just doing that alone completely ruined anything in terms of lore accuracy. There is nothing that's going to be accurate whatsoever. And anybody that for some reason still wants to gaslight people and lie and talk about, oh, it's going to be very lore accurate. Stop. It's not. It's just not. The timeline doesn't even make sense. None of it makes sense. Just move on from that. Move on from that. Still to this day, okay? Still to this day, nobody in the world has explained to me how the fuck does this man have a fade in Middle Earth. Still to this day, I don't have an answer as to how he has a fade. I just don't. I don't. I really wish I did, but I don't. So he just magically has a fucking fade. And what's up with this ring? Like, why does it look like this looks like something out of the box? You know those pop rings that you could kind of suck on, you know, like the girls, what they would do to try to make you think stuff. Like that's what it kind of looks like. You know what I'm saying? That looks like a pop ring. I'm pretty sure it probably is. But hey, that's apparently an elven ring of power. Interesting. Ring pop, whatever. Pop, ring pop, whatever. I don't fucking know. Okay, so I'm assuming this is the part where they discover that Anatar is not exactly their best friend, right? Now, watch this part right here. Not gonna lie, that was pretty fucking cool. I wish I could see more of that, but unfortunately, you guys are too busy showing me fucking nonsense. This right here is probably the only cool scene in the entire trailer. And even so, what's amazing to me is that they showed this in the fucking trailer. Why are you doing Why are you doing that? For all the people who may not know who Anatar is, why didn't you keep this for the actual TV show? Why are you giving it away that he's bad? Right? I just feel like they could have played it up a little bit. I don't know. I guess because they're using the same actor from the first season. Probably. They're probably using it's because they're using the same actor from the first season. So they don't even care. They don't even care. They're like, okay, everybody knows he's Sauron. Just because we gave him long hair doesn't mean anything. We could just fucking self-spoil everything. You know what I mean? But this is basically what they're doing. It's incredible to me. Like, why would you want to watch the show? Because you kind of already know what's going to go down, right? But again, I'm not going to take away from the fact that was a cool fucking scene. Absolutely cool scene. How it suddenly transforms into a tower, I have no idea. But hey, it is what it is. So that's it. I mean, that's really it. This is the teaser trailer for Rings of Power. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there's anybody that's watching this show in good faith.